Hi, it's Miss O'Brien again, and this time we're looking at division. So we've got 6 divided by 2 equals 3. This is something you've done before, right? So I would just have 6 positive circles here, and I'm splitting in those into groups of positive 2. There's positive 2 in this one, so that's one group of positive 2, that's a second group of positive 2, and that's a third group of positive 2. Right, so 6 divided by 2 equals 3. We can also think about on the number line here, we've got how many positive 2's fit in here? Right, 3 of them. This is very closely related to our multiplication patterns, right? A positive times a positive equal to positive. A positive divided by a positive is equal to a positive. Right? You're going to find the same patterns here with division because multiplication and division are very closely related. Now mixing it up with some negatives, we've got 6 divided by negative 2 equals negative 3. Right, so if we have positive 6, first I would draw my positive 6 blue circles, right, and then I need to split those into groups of negative 2. So that's one negative group, right? Here's a second negative group, and here's a third negative group. Because when we have a negative and a positive, right, that was like a negative, always that was like subtracting. Right, so this equals negative 3. You can think about in multiplication how a positive times a negative equal to negative. Well, here with division, a positive divided by a negative equals a negative. So in multiplication and division, when their signs are different, you're going to get a negative. When their signs are the same, you're going to get a positive. Here we've got negative 6 divided by 2. All right, so I would start with my negative 6, so I would draw my negative 6 circles here, so they're red. And I need to split them into positive groups, so I split those into groups of positive 2. All right, but there's negatives in those groups, so that would make it a negative group, right? That's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, because that's a group with negatives in it. Right, so a negative divided by positive is going to give me a negative, just like a negative times a positive equals a negative. You can think about when you check your answer that these numbers need to multiply to make your answer. Right? 2 times negative 3 equals negative 6. So if it helps, you can think about the multiplication. Here we've got a negative divided by a negative. All right, so how many groups of negative 2 are in negative 6? Right? Oh, here's one group. Oh, I want my pen. Here's one group, right? Here's 2 groups. Here's 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. Right? And you can look at that in these groups as well. There's a negative group, right? So that's like a positive group. Okay, so it's plus 1, plus 2, plus 3. All right, so a negative divided by a negative is going to equal a positive. Because negative 2 fits into negative 6 3 times. All right, just like in multiplication, when we had a negative times a negative, it equaled a positive. When you have a negative divided by a negative, it's going to equal a positive. So here are the notes to sum it up, right? Multiplication is repeated addition. For example, 3 times 4 means 3 groups of 4. Division, splitting into equal groups. For example, 10 divided by 2 means 10 split into groups of 2. And then here are the patterns, right? Positive times a positive equals a positive. Negative times a negative equals a negative. Positive times a negative equals a negative. Negative times a positive equals a negative. Positive divided by a positive equals a positive. Negative divided by a negative equals a positive. Positive divided by a negative equals a negative. Negative divided by a positive equals a negative. All right, and there's examples here to look at while you work on your assignment. Okay, so basically when their signs are the same, it's going to be positive. When their signs are different, it's going to be negative.